Ripples on Deep Water, by Orphaned Account on AO3. Episode 5, Chapter 5, Immortals. Shouta Aizawa was tired. Of course, this was nothing new. Hizashi liked to joke that he sucked all the energy out of Shouta like some vampire, but Shota's been an insomniac long before he met him. So you couldn't exactly blame him that he wasn't paying the slightest attention to Majimi or Nomori as they rambled about their classes. Neither bothered asking him because Nomori had heard from Hizashi that he already expelled a student. Some brat he'd bother not learn the name of that didn't even try passing the quirk assessment. Kami above. I knew accepting the top 2 scorers into our one class would be a problem, but I don't think I was expecting that. Nomori leaned in, her blue eyes widened with anticipation. Did they explode something? Yes, and we didn't do anything except introductions and orientation, so I don't even know how, but that's not the point. Majami looked genuinely distressed, raking his capped fingers through his ginger hair. Shouta inclined his head slightly. Sue him. He liked hearing about other teachers having problem children for once. Majami acknowledged Shouta tuning in with a nod before continuing. The top scorers was Hatsume Mei and Midoriya Izuku. They're partners, I'm pretty sure. Hatsume jumps up to be the first for introductions, and she says, I shit you not! I'm Hatsume Mei. My quirk is Zoom, and Izu-chan here is my best friend. I love making babies with him. Nomori snorts ineluctably as Shouta coughs to cover a laugh of his own. A bit forward, weren't they? And Midoriya immediately full names her and makes her correct herself. They call their support items babies. And it was a bit late to prevent mass chaos, so the other 3 are losing their shit. Midoriya looks like he genuinely wants to die. I'm sitting trying to figure out how to breathe, and Hatsume just stands there looking proud of herself. That was significantly better than his first assumption, Shouta decides. And don't get me started on Midoriya. There was a sudden, loud explosion coming from down the hall, suspiciously close to the development studio. Majami sighs. That would be them. They asked to stay late so they could work on their support items for the sports festival. Nomori crackled. I've gotta see this. Shouta just shrugs and allows his friend to drag him up out the door. Hajime hovers close behind as he follows with more than a little hesitation. As they walked down the hall, they heard several small explosions and loud swears, accompanied by laughter. Majami pushes the door open, stepping closer to let the smoke drift out. The look of pure self-loathing on his face as he stepped in, Nomori and Shouta inter. Midoriya, Hatsume, I said to not level the building. A girl covered in hot pink paint appeared from behind a paint-covered shield. Specifically, the cork-reinforced glass shield meant for testing explosives. She threw back her head and laughed. Pearl white teeth stared sight on the girl's covered head from toe to pink. Don't be ridiculous. Next to Violet Quirk Daxling Grounds, aka Gym Omega, the department studio and support classrooms are the most sanctioned places on the campus. Should have blinked. She was completely right. A boy with long, curly green hair rounded the shield as well. A clearly self-made table in hand, he didn't even look up to see the new people as he picked his way past puddles of pink to Hatsume. Fine motor control? She flexed her fingers stiffly, and the pink cracked. Slowed, not entirely stopped. General motor control? Hatsume swung her legs out. It was stiff and awkward. Weird, and kind of heavy, but not slowed much. Weight? I'd say about 5 kilos. Stickiness? Slamming her palms together with a weird mix between a slapping and a crackling sound, she bent her arms slightly, trying to pry them apart. Mega sticky. Against any other surfaces? Her legs lifted with a bit of pink paint, stringing between it. Tiny stick, pathetic boy. The boy, assumingly Midoriya, frowned. It's the elasticity being a problem again. Yeah, maybe less rubber components next time. More concrete. Keep glue the same though, since I think it's mostly the rubber fucking with its stickiness. Midoriya nodded sharply, looking up to her with a slightly deeper frown. We'll have to mark it as a failure. Hatsume grinned back. Majime sighed loudly. Please tell me you have a solution to clean this up. Salt water, Hatsume chirped, before waggling over to a kiddie pool with globs of pink in it. Midoriya looked up to Hajime, noticing the other two teachers. Shouta noted the green eyes focusing on him for just a moment longer, and he suddenly stuck with the feeling that he'd seen this kid before. Something you need, Majime-san? Majime rubbed his face. Midoriya, you need to keep the explosions to a minimum. Oh, that? He glanced back. Those are pink bombs, not actually destructive property. It's meant for villain apprehension rather than offense. It comes off with some salt water. Majime looks to Shouta helplessly. Shouta shrugs in response. Not his problem child. Hatsume bends his back over, miraculously clean of the pink smudge, yet drenched in water. Her hair was bubblegum pink, and the strange straps on her head seemed to be goggles. She threw her arm over Midoriya's shoulder, looking over to the three teachers. Hiya, Midnight-san and Stranger-san. Boy on the bus, crying, angry. Pink bouncy girl, distract him. Phone number? What the fuck just happened? Even if I'm quirkless? Shouta squinted slightly at Midoriya. Whatever had happened in those 10 months between meeting must have seriously fucked with the kid. He had long hair tied into a messy bun, eye bags that rivaled his own, but there was also a definitive shine to his eye that wasn't there before. Aizawa, Kayama, meet Hatsume and Midoriya. Majime said tiredly. Midoriya here applied for support because he knew he would fail the heroics exam and plans on transferring. There was a strange clicking sound as Midoriya nodded, suddenly turning around and gliding away. Yes, queen! Hatsume cheered, her smile wide as humanly possible. Healy away from the Sealies! Shouta literally doesn't know what to do at this point except for sigh. He does have a slot open in 1A, after all. Better keep an eye on Majame's problem child, just in case he become his. I love this chapter. Not much to say other than the fact that, again, loved the fact that Aizawa kind of recognized Izuku. That was super sweet. I really enjoyed this. I cannot wait for the Dadzawa. I am in desperate need of Dadzawa. I don't think you understand how desperate my need for Dadzawa is. It is highly desperate. It is so high up there. Like, I need it. Okay, sorry. After this, I could then read fanfictions on my own, but I have been on a project of rereading every fic that I've ever read, specifically Shingeki, because I'm running out of options. Yeah, imagine that. It's something, but the certain series that I'm reading right now, I do not like at all. Like at all. Because they make one of the characters... Okay. Look, I do not like this author that much. Their writing style is very... I don't like it. They have a way of writing the characters very OOC, which, if it rocks your boat, it rocks your boat. It does not rock my boat. I normally do not read those. But lately, beggars can't be choosers, so I have been reading their fics, right? And I have not been a huge fan of reading their fics, but one of their very first fics I ever read was one of their longest ones, and one of the Shindeku characters, either Izuku or Hitoshi, I'm not going to say who, because the more I say, the more it reveals who it is, and I do not want to blast them online like this. They're trans, and I don't mean male or female to male, because I would not mind that. Obviously, I don't want to read that 24/7 all the time. There's days and time for me. Like, some days I do not want to think about trans people. I don't mean this. I am trans. Some days I just don't want to think about trans people because it makes me think about me and my transness, and I don't want to deal with dysphoria that day, or I just don't feel like it that day. Like, I'm not feeling it that day, so I don't read it that day. Like how there's some days where I desperately want to read it. That's very little. I don't necessarily want to read it. Most of the time it's just like, oh, okay, it's in there. I feel okay today to read it. What I do hate, though, is when they swap the gender, like they do trans, but it's, like, you know, for example, it's originally a male character and it's male to female. And I'm like, I don't. It's okay if it's, like, male to female Ochako. I dig that. I've never seen that, but I would dig that. But, like, to swap only one gender of a ship, kinda, I don't like it. And personally, fanfiction-wise, I kinda don't dig gender swaps, or transness, in the sense of, like, gender swaps, in fanfiction, mainly because I just don't like reading it in fanfiction. I love it and dig it in comic books, or not comic books, but, like, you know, those comic graphic not graphic depiction, but comic, graphic novels. Not graphic. Fuck, just those comics that people post, like, on Tumblr, Instagram, TikTok, stuff like that. I do not mind that. I do not mind fan art of gender swap or gender bend. I don't care. I actually think it's really cool. I think there's some gender bend versions of Katsuki that is absolutely hilarious. Some people give him, like, long hair. A lot of the times, the ones that I genuinely enjoy are the ones where, like, he does not change. He just gets slightly rounder features and, you know, a chest, and that's it. Everything else stays the same. Fucker's buff as fuck, and I love it. Same with Izuku. I've seen some people where they keep his short hair. Some people do long hair. I love Todoroki's. I've always loved Todoroki with the super long hair. They give him the prettiest eyelashes. Oh my god, there was this one. Anyways, point taken is, I have to read that, and, like, I don't want to read it. And it's like, I have to read it, and, like, I don't want to read it. So you know what? I'm just gonna skip it. I'm not gonna read it. Fuck that shit. Do I have to read it? No, I don't have to read it. I'll just skip that one. Because I genuinely cannot read that. Look, no offense to that creator. They probably put their whole, you know, body, soul, and mind into it, but I personally do not like it. And that's okay to have personal opinions on stuff and personally not like something. It is okay to not enjoy something like that, you know? It is okay, right? It is not bad. It is okay, right? And personally, I just did not like it, okay? I did not like it, and that's okay. Anyways, I talked about that because I have literally nothing else to say in this goddamn outro other than I cannot wait for Izuku and Hatsume to cause chaos. The next chapter is called Demons. Summary being Izuku and Mei are chaos children, and Izuku talks about his past. So that's gonna be very fun. As always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.